Okay, what I'd like to do in the following 2 hours is to finish the chapter 2. Um, chapter 2 talk about some fundamentals of C language. It's kind of difficult to do this thing because you don't have any background in C. Some of this stuff, I should say, all of this stuff will be detailed introduced in the later chapter or later section. But in here, just give you a brief overview of C language. So you should go over it and remember some of the terminology and some of the rule you should remember. Okay? And in the later section, we will go much more detail of all these features of C language. Okay? Now, here's a program, a simple program of C language. We call this include. Start with the pound sign. So include is a preprocessor directory. It's a preprocessor command. What you do is to include this text file with extension .h. This .h means it's a header file. Header file. I call it header file because it always put at the beginning of a program. And include this file means put the content of this file in this location of the program. Okay? The content of stdio.h will be inserted into this location of the program. Okay? And this will be done before this program is compiled. So we call it pre-processor. Okay? We call it pre-processor. Why is pre? Is pre-compile. Okay? It's before compile. Okay? Now, the following is a function, and this function is special. This function is special. Why is it special? Because every program should have one of this function, and its name should always be main. Okay? Main is a function name. It's a function name. Okay? And it always is MAIN. Small letter, not capital letter, small letter. Okay? And before main, you put a INT. What's INT? INT is stand for integer. Okay? Just take the first three character is INT. It stands for integer, stand for 整数. Okay? And after the name, there's a parenthesis. Okay? In parenthesis, we put a reservoir, okay, a keyword called void. What void means is empty, is nothing. Okay? It means it's something that you put nothing into the parenthesis, but you put a void, the keyword void instead. And then this is a big bracket, okay? And in big bracket, you put in a number of statements. And each statement you can see is a C command. What is command? Command is what you ask C or ask computer to do for you. Okay? And each C statement, please remember, each C statement is end with semicolon. Semicolon. Okay? You should always remember, you should put a semicolon at the end of the statement. Otherwise, you will get an error message. Otherwise, your program will not be correctly compiled and correctly execution. Okay? Now, what is printf? Printf is also a function name. Just like main is a function name. What I cannot emphasize this, that main should be in your every program. And there's a main function, okay? It's only one main function, okay? And it has to be one main function in order to be a correct program. And printf is also a function name. And printf is a function that built in the library. What I mean library is you don't have to design printf yourself. The computer software company will provide this printf as a standard library, as a function that you don't need to write. Okay? And you can just call it, okay? You can just call printf, or you can just type printf. Then they will do the function of typef for you. What printf do is the parenthesis, okay? And inside the parenthesis, you have a double quotation, two double quotation. Between these two double quotations, this, we call it a string. What is a string? A string is a sequence of characters. And this string will be shown on the screen, okay? And each function, not each function, okay? Most functions should end with return something. In here, return 0. This 0 is a data type of the data type before main. Okay? So 0 is a data for integer. And in here we return 0. So in a function, you have a function name. And before the function name, you put in the data type you're going to return in this function. And in this big bracket, you define what function will do. And you're using this function name to represent what you are going to do. Okay? So, for normal function, not the special function like main, like printf, you can use it many times as you want. And the reason we're using a function name is normally function contain many statements or many tasks it has to be done. But by simply using a function name, you can do this kind of complicated test as many times as you want. You just mention the name. Okay? So here, printf is a standard library you provide by software company that you can use it. Okay? In printf, you have to follow by parentheses, and in parentheses you have a double quote, and with the double quote is the content, is the stuff you are going to show on your screen. Let's see an example. Okay, now we go to the peer class and go to the project one and double click the project one .sln. Now we put in include. This is the preprocessor directive, a direction command for preprocessor include. Then we put a smaller than, okay, smaller than, and greater than. Visual Studio is very smart. Once you put a small than, this small than size, it will automatically generate a greater than size. And a pair of smaller than and a greater than, it just look like a bracket, okay? And surrender something. And this something is a header file. This header file, we call it stdio.h. This stdio.h is provided by the company, by the software company, by the C compiler. Inside stdio.h, it defines all the library functions related to the input and output of a program function. Okay? The function that relate to input and output in the standard library are defined, are declared in this file. Okay. Now we have as I just mentioned, you have one function, one and only one function called main. And this main will return a data type, integer. So you put a int before main. Then after main, you put a parenthesis, and this parenthesis is used for input information to main function. But now we are not going to put anything to main function, so we just type in void. A void means empty, means nothing. Means we are not going to put anything into function. We call it main here. Then a big bracket here. Once you type that big bracket, Visual Studio will smartly add right bracket for you. Okay? Now, in this big bracket, we using a standard library called printf. In printf, after printf, we have a parenthesis, okay? A pair of parentheses. And I just say each C statement you should end with a semicolon. Now, within the parentheses, you should have a double quote, a pair of double quote. And anything you type within this pair of double quote will show on the screen, okay? So this is our first line on screen. Okay, and then we have a period. Okay, now what you can do is just that example, we return 0. Okay, return an integer 0. Okay, why you can return 0, because 0 is one of the integer value. Okay, now we should rebuild this. Let's do it in x86 is 32-bit system. x64 is 64-bit system. Okay, we prefer 64 because now our operation system is all in 64-bit. So we choose 64. And we have two versions of compiler. One is debug version. In debug version, the Visual Studio will generate more data structure, which facilitate you do the debugging job when you want to debug your program. And with this version, which the main concern, the main objective is to have your program to be more efficient, and which means it takes less time to run your program. Okay, so this is compilers. This is how compiler is designed. Okay, these two versions of compiler, both you can use, and you better use both. When you develop your program, you use debugger, which is easier to debug, to find a bug in your program. And once you finish your debugger and your program looks fine in the debugger compiler, then you can switch to release version and try to compile and try to execute and try to find a bug in your program. Now, we begin with debugger version. And probably in this class, we will use debugger version to do the demonstration. Now, we review 重建方案. Okay. Now, at the end, at the bottom of this window, you can see 1成功0失败0略过. Okay. Once you see 1成功, it means 一个成功的 compiler 的工作. Now you can execute this program. And now, when I push this button, you can see this message. You can see this is our first line on screen. This is the content you program in your printf. Okay, this is the result of this C statement. This C statement is calling a function called printf. Okay, now we have some other garbage here. 都要侦错停止时自动关闭主动台。No, we are not going to automatically shut down the window. Which display the result. So what we can do is using a standard library. And in order to use the standard library, you should include a header file called stdlib.h. And this standard library is is a function called system. Okay, and this function system will take also a pair of double quotation as a command for system. Okay, you're using the old version of the Wintel system with so-called DOS system. It's an interactive way of communicate with the computer. Once computer finishes job, he will prompt a character on the screen, and then you type in the next command, and then the computer will execute the command. And once you finish, after you finish the command, it will show a prompt again. Now, for now, you just remember you're using a system function to issue an interaction command. And this command is called pause. Okay? This command is called pause. What pause does is to stop the screen. Okay, so you can see what's going on the screen, and to continue, you just type in any character that you will continue. And once you type in any character, you will go to return 0, and then the main function will be complete. Okay, will be finished. Okay, so let's compile again. Let's 重建方案 again. Again, we see 一成功. Now we press this triangle. It's just like a play key on your screen. Okay, on your smartphone. Then you want to play music, you just press something like this triangle. So you press this, and then the program will execute again. Now you see this is the first line on screen. Now we're going to do is in order to let you guys see the screen more clearly, we're going to change the display window background color. Now 萤幕背景 what color? White may be better. Okay. 萤幕文字 maybe black. Okay. Now we check in. So we execute again. So it became white background and white and black data. Now the data may be too small. So what we can do is we make the font bigger. Like currently is 16. Maybe we change to 24. So we execute again. So it is bigger now. Do you guys recognize that? Maybe 28 is better. Change to 28. Okay? Okay, better. Now, what you can see is the the post command issued by system will stop the screen and show a line called 请按任意键继续. So we follow the instruction, we press any key, and we're still getting something that we don't like. We just follow the instruction. The good thing about computer is you can follow the instruction to correct your mistake. And here's a 启用工具, okay? 工具. Then 选项, okay? And then what? We don't have a screen. 选项 then 侦错，在侦错停止时自动关闭主控台 ，OK？ 工具选项侦错 ，OK？ Now， 工具选项我一直侦错 ，Here。侦错停止时自动关闭主控台 ，OK？ Just check it and yes, okay? 确定。So now we execute it again. Why? The modification is gone. We have to do it again. 背景白色，文字黑色，字型28，确定 ，OK。Press any key. So once you type in any key, it goes to return 0, and then go to the right big bracket, which is the end of this function main. So we terminate the main function and also the whole program. But in here, when we execute, let me execute again. You see that 请按任意键继续 which is right next to the period. This period here is right next to here. It's a way that we can show this 请按任意键继续 to the next line instead of continue from the line we are going to print. So the way to do it is you put in a slash n. A slash n means what? Means what? We don't have a whiteboard. Give me a whiteboard, please. No. Okay, we have internet connection now. Please give me whiteboard so I can show you, so I can write. Try again. Give me whiteboard. This is previous window we did not close. Come on, yeah. God. Error. Stupid Microsoft. Try again. Okay. Now, let me just using PowerPoint to a slash. Sorry, not slash, backslash, and the N here stand for new line. What new line means is to jump to the beginning of the next line. So in here you can see you can see in the PowerPoint provided by the author using backslash and which means a new line. Now our program we can do the same thing. We can do the same thing in our program. It's still good. Okay? Backslash and means a new line. Now you can see the difference. Now I say it and rebuild. 一成功 and play key. You can see 请按任意键继续. Previously it showed here, now it shows in here because you put the backslash and you put a new line at the end of the string that you're going to show on the screen. Okay? What's that? What's that? Dumping. Okay, let's get back to here. Okay, so when we call this program as pump.c, okay, so its extension is C, which is very important. Okay, when you're using Visual Studio, please put .c at the end of your source, at the end of your program. Okay, extension. Now, before a program which is written by you can be executed, there are 3 steps has to be done. The first one is pre-processing. Okay, this is done by a preprocessor. A preprocessor will follow the pound sign command or called directive. Okay, for example, you just see pound include. This directive, this command is a preprocessor command. A preprocessor see this command will do what? It will include the file content. Here, it will put the content of this file into this place. Okay? So the next one is compiling. Who do the job? Compiler will do the job. Okay? Compiler do the compiling, which is normal. Okay? It's nature. Okay? Compiler do the compiling. When compiler do compiling, compiler it will not see this pound sign and the include. Compiler will see the content of this file. Whatever in this file will be seen by compiler. Okay? Not this line, not this one, not this one. Okay? And then translate the program into a machine instruction, which is binary thing, binary code. And there's no way you can understand binary code. Okay, unless you find a table of the CPU, machine level CPU menu or whatever, and do the big code 0110 represent whatever, then you know what machine will do. So it's very difficult for people, for human beings, to understand machine instruction. Okay? And we call this machine instruction as objective code. As objective code. So remember, this machine code, this machine instruction is called objective code. And who will generate this objective code? It's the compiler will generate objective code. From where? From the program you load. A compiler is just like a translator who translate English into Chinese. Okay? American and Taiwanese. Okay? And Taiwanese can speak English, and American cannot cannot understand Mandarin. So it requires a translator. Now compiler play the same role. It translates something programmer can write, which is a kind of high-level language. C is a high-level language, which is much closer, much like a language a human being will use. But machine code, a human being is difficult to understand, and it's very time consuming if you want to understand machine code, machine instruction. So compiler will translate a high level language like C into machine code, which is binary code, and it is ready for the computer CPU to perform its task given by this machine instruction or so-called objective code here. Okay? And then the third step is linking. Who do the linking? It's nature. Do linking. The job is performed by linker. Okay? Compiler do compile, linker do linking. What is linking? In your program, you using a standard library, or when you do a large project, large software project, it's impossible for one single person to do all the programming job. Now, you might cooperate in your team, and everybody do a portion of the programming. Now, the linker will link, will combine, will integrate the job, the machine code from standard library, and the machine code from each individual programmer, and a compiler into one single executable file. So linker is kind of doing the integration and doing the compilation. Okay? Now let's take a 10 minutes break. Our progress is kind of slow because I have to use English.